So do you know what one of the biggest talking points of this year was when it came to professional wrestling? WrestleMania 39. Now, I was very lucky to be there live, and I had a walloping good time. And when you do go through it, there was so much good to it. The Kevin Owens Sami Zayn tag match. I enjoyed Brock Lesnar versus Omos. I thought it was silly and fun. That Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley match. Anything that Becky Lynch did is always entertaining. It was just so much good stuff. Again, the Intercontinental title match between Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre. It really was probably the best two-night WrestleMania they've done. And it's a huge credit to WWE, because I remember when this was first pitched, I was like,
I don't want a two-night WrestleMania.
Put egg on my face. I don't know what I'm talking about. The big controversy, to the point that it completely upended ups and downs that we did after the show. Check out What Culture Wrestling, the YouTube channel. It'll be up there and in the description right now. Is because Cody Rhodes was not able to defeat Roman Reigns for the undisputed Super Whooper Championship in the main event of night 2. People were genuinely stunned. And look, I put myself in that category as well. I won't lie, I have a dark side to me like Darth Vader. When that did happen, I was kind of just looking at people breaking down in the crowd and being like, this is absolutely excellent, because I like chaos. I'm also like Dr. Robotnik. But I mean, if nothing else, I think the fact that it was able to elicit that kind of emotional response is, 2 thumbs up. But at the same time, the argument once again was put out there. Has WWE missed the boat? Are they pushing this bloodline thing too far, etc., etc.? Now look, when we go past WrestleMania 39, which is what we were going to do today, is there another debate to say that Roman didn't actually need that title? Yes. When you actually look at where the company is now, I'm going to put my hands up and say, I actually think they made the right call. And that's the end of my internet life. Here is the deal. I kept seeing it online all of the time. We could have done all these stories when it came to the bloodline of Roman Reigns, the tribal chief Paul Heyman, without him being the champion. And there is some logic to that. But the fact that he is still the champion, and the fact that he's broken all these records, and the fact now when he does turn up to the show, which admittedly isn't a lot, could he do more? Yes. Do I like the fact he's a bit like a ghost? Yes. I can't lie. I'm somewhere in the middle. He has become the biggest of all superstars. He has. He moves numbers. He sells merchandise. He is the official end-of-level boss. Like at one point it was Brock Lesnar. I now think that's kind of passed across to Roman Reigns for all the reasons that we have just underlined. And it did help being the champion. I mean, you go through all the matches that we did do. I mean, the amazing tag match at Money in the Bank. I mean, if he had lost to Cody Rhodes, would the loss to the Usos have meant of much? Potentially not. And while nobody really bet on the SummerSlam match, the Tribal Combat match, and that was a little bit disappointing, and no one actually believed that LA Knight was going to beat him at Crown Jewel. The fact that you did have Jey Uso fighting for a world championship, you had LA Knight fighting for a world championship, I think it did raise their stock. And now LA Knight is one of the biggest superstars there is in WWE. Jey Uso, as his nickname suggests, is a main event player, and it all ties into what we've done here, and it all ties into the plan that I think we have created, because getting to WrestleMania 40, which is now but only a few months away, there's way too much smoke, there's way too much fire, and there's way too many rumors. It sounds to me like we will do Cody versus Roman part 2, whether Cody wins the Royal Rumble or whatever it may be. They did have that face-off a few weeks ago on SmackDown. And if Cody Rhodes then defeats Roman Reigns, I actually think he gets more worth and more stock out of that. And it's all down to what Cody has done in 2023. When it comes to super hot over mega baby faces, he is number one. Once again, selling merchandise, doing TV ratings. People erupt when there's only one royal family. That's not how his music goes. But when his music does hit Kingdom, people go absolutely bonkers because we like him and because we're emotionally invested. So if you can get to that point without having a gold trinket around your neck, nobody wears it like that. Didn't John Cena used to wear it like that? I think he did. But if you can get to that point, you are a made man, because so many times you kind of tell the audience, look, this is the direction we're going in. You make them the world champion. That was one of the ideas of the belt, and sometimes it's the championship that makes the man, and sometimes it's the man that makes the championship. Sometimes it's both, and that's when you set the world on fire. But now, if we get to WrestleMania 40, right? If we take WrestleMania as the end of a wrestling season, and then whatever comes next is the start of a new wrestling season, Cody coming out of that as the WWE Undisputed Super Whooper 9000 champion means he does finish the story, he does start a new chapter, and because he is the guy to beat the head of the table, the tribal chief, who hasn't been beaten for like 7,962 days for a championship, obviously he lost to the Usos, as we already talked about, I think not only does that ping him up to the next level, and he's already pretty high, but again, it gives him this amazing momentum to just fly out of the gates. And then when you do look back, you go, you know what, this all came down to WWE being patient. Now, I probably do have a little bit of a bee in my bonnet about this, because I'm an old man, I'm a massive nerd, I'm a massive geek, and there was a period, especially in 2018, 2019, where stories would start week 1, and by week 3 they'd be done. We gave them no time to connect, we gave them no time to click. So now the fact that we are being patient and we are elongating them, I'm happy for one to go too long as opposed to one going too short, which again was the way for years. years, literally years. Now, well, you want to find that perfect balance, of course you do, but it's a balancing act. But I really respect the fact, I'm going to assume it's Triple H, but I don't know. He was like, no, WrestleMania 40 has to be the day when Cody wins. It's a little bit like a Shakespeare play, I suppose. We have our tragedy in the middle of the story, which is Cody not getting the most obvious win ever, which we all assumed. But 12 months later, he climbs that ladder. He won the War Games match. He defeated Brock Lesnar. Like, there's so many cool things that he has done. Sounds like he's about to beat Shinsuke Nakamura. And then he uses that entire wave to go into WrestleMania 40 and become the guy that takes all that magic and all that power and all that tribalism from Roman. I think he could have an incredible 2024, even more so if we then move Gunther into play. Now, somebody I assume will beat Gunther for the IC Championship at WrestleMania, but Gunther has done such a good job once again through patience and taking our time and really putting respect on that Intercontinental title, that even if he does lose that, he can shift straight into the main event level tier and go after Cody Rhodes' title. Now, of course, then you have to start debating, well, who the hell wins that? You can say that Gunther shouldn't be losing again, but should Cody? Don't forget, when Stone Cold Steve Austin was champion, if you actually go through his reigns, none were massively long because Stone Cold chasing the belt often resulted in better business numbers. And that's the other thing we have to talk about before I forget about this. Ultimately, as we are in December 2023, and we're coming towards the end of a calendar year, WWE has crushed it this year. To the point when it came to Survivor Series in Chicago, they just gave up having a massive set because they wanted to pack that place full as much as they possibly can. Got to give them a round of applause. I know it's annoying that I'm doing it. What am I doing? I have no idea. I'm a bald moron. When you get to, like I say, 7-8 months removed from your biggest show, and you've still got people going, I don't think they made the right decision, and then you look at your bank balance, I really don't think we can even go back and forth about it anymore. Of course, please do in the comments. That's the whole point of YouTube. But I'm totally for it. I'm totally with it. You know, Roman being on top and being presented as that star has helped with all of that too, because we've moved so many other people up. I mean, right now, we're not going to do this, but I think Randy Orton will actually be the guy that challenges Roman at the Royal Rumble. But you could do a Randy Orton, you could do a Drew McIntyre, you could do a Cody Rhodes, you could do a CM Punk, you could do a Seth Rollins, you could do a Gunther. That is so many people all of a sudden that are ready to be considered a super duper whooper star. And I think that's fantastic, because even as short as 3 years ago, people were saying, oh, WWE doesn't make stars, WWE makes stars. Well, now they absolutely do. Now, of course, if we get to WrestleMania 40 and Cody Rhodes doesn't win, I'll totally change my opinion. But as I've already said, deep down in my Tootsie Toes, I totally believe it is going to happen. Like, it's not even a belief. I think it's a spoiler, right? It's a guarantee, it's a spoiler. This is what's going to go down. So because I have bought in so hard to it, I'm now looking at the previous matches and the previous pay-per-views, premium live events, and I think this was the absolute right call to make. And even if it was a mistake at the time, WWE being confident in the storyline that they did have planned was the right thing to do. And if that then does give you faith as a fan, and it gives the creative people faith they should keep doing it, man, we are in for a treat. I mean, we're doing it right now. The Bayley stuff with Damage Control is so, so good. Of course, we're going to do something with Rhea Ripley at some point. In fact, that ties in with the Judgment Day and Damian Priest. It's happening all down the card, which means you don't just have to worry about the main event. You can pick your favorite superstars, you can pick your favorite stories, no matter where it is, and you're able to invest in it because you know you're going to get some kind of a payoff. Now, it's pro wrestling. Not everyone is going to be great. But again, I much prefer this strategy of wait and see as opposed to, oh, no, I don't think it's working, so we'll just throw it out the window. So who cares? So I think it's been a massive success. It's probably, in terms of going against the grain, which is what WrestleMania 39 was, the best position that WWE could have found themselves in, to the point that they don't even have a pay-per-view, premium live event in January. They're happy to wait off for the Raw Rumble, even though that's 2 months, 8 weeks worth of build, which can be quite hard. We've seen that in other wrestling promotions and WWE. But they have faith in that content, and that's my theme of this video, is just the word faith. And if we get to the Raw Rumble, and we have an amazing Raw Rumble, and it's Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns takes out Randy Orton too, so soon after he comes back, which then results in Cody being the guy, I just think he absolutely flies. And also, you could turn Randy Orton heel and do the Cody Rhodes Randy Orton program for the championship. That is right up there to me. I want to see CM Punk Roman Reigns, and I want to see Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. If you could hold both of those off for WrestleMania 41, I think that is a absolutely tremendous show. There is so much story to both of those, and it all goes back 10 years. In fact, it all goes back to around about 2012, or that era, for both Punk and Roman and Randy and Cody. And I think that's another massive, well, plus point for WWE right now. You can start looking to the future, and it's not like, oh, what are we going to do with this guy, or what are we going to do with that guy? It's like, no, there's him and her and that person and this individual. It's absolutely all over the place. So again, so many of you won't agree with me, and so many of you, I don't know what you're going to say. No. We could have done this without Roman Reigns being the champion, but I don't think that's the case. And like I say, just to underline it and give you my TLDR, why did I say it like that? I don't know. Cody becomes a champion at WrestleMania 40, and it's one of those moments that we remember forever because he totally smashed it. I'm very, very excited about this. And of course, Cody Rhodes should become the champion. That's an inspirational tale all on itself. And I do believe that's another reason people get behind him so much, because he walked out into the wilderness, changed the entire industry, and then came back to do what he wanted to do all those years ago. Look at me. Puts a smile on my face. Wrestling is the absolute best. Thank you. Now, of course, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Get the bell, ding, ding, notification crew. Would appreciate that. There will be a video on the screen right now. Probably my fantasy booking for CM Punk versus Austin. I know you don't want it. I do. Again, I'm an old nerd. If you're into fitness stuff, it's grillermind.com/Simon. You can Simon to get 10% off. I'm on Patreon if you want to support that way. Patreon.com/Simon316. Simon316 on Instagram and Twitter or X. Simon J. Miller on TikTok. Simon Miller on Cameo. Science on Athletics and Pro Wrestling Tees for my merchandise. Please buy one of them. Every time the notification pings up, it makes me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum, which is one of the teas. But ultimately, get in those comments, tell me how wrong I am. I agree. I deserve no platform, but I've got one, and I'm going to take advantage of it. Have a lovely day, my friends. See you soon.